I'd like to welcome you to Fiscal Court. We'd like to open our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all don't mind, please stand and join me as we pledge to the flag of the greatest country in the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. You've all received a copy of those. Would you have any additions or deletions, or we'd accept a motion to approve them?
Motion to approve them.
The only thing I've seen, the magistrates wasn't listed. I don't know
I just noticed that too, Jason.
if we need to add that on or not.
We'll need to get a list there. You see that, Alicia?
It says the following magistrates were present, and then there's not any listed.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see that.
Nobody showed up.
So then we have one change, so we'll need another motion to approve with changes.
Well, we didn't have a second on that one.
We didn't have a second, so we'll withdraw that motion and maybe take another motion to approve with changes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. No old business today, but we do have a couple items of new business. First, we have proclamation, the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame proclamation. You remember the gentleman, Mr. McAfee, that was here previously talking about the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame. We have a proclamation that we as a court would like to support that. If you all would
Motion.
have a motion to
Second.
accept that. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and I'll sign off on that proclamation, and with that, he has also asked that we would purchase a sign on behalf of Pulaski County for the veterans, and the cost of the sign is $110. And he will place that out here on our behalf.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to do that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, gentlemen. And thank you to all of our veterans who've so bravely served and answered the call in their lives to protect our country. We are a great country because of it, so we definitely thank you, and hope you had a good Veterans Day yesterday, and hope that you are recognized and appreciated all year long. Next item on the agenda then is we have to have a public hearing for the Mack truck lease. It's required by statute when we lease, I guess, to have this hearing, and we have to advertise that at least 7 days prior to the hearing. So we need permission to advertise that.
No,
We don't?
we've advertised, it's advertised, we're ready for the actual hearing.
Okay, so tell me what we need to do with this. I thought we were going to advertise.
No, we've advertised. Basically,
We need to set the hearing?
we're doing the hearing. Actually, what the hearing entails is to allow the public to know what we were doing this lease for. It is for the dump trucks and, what was it? And a semi for the road department, 3 dump trucks for the road department, and a semi for solid waste. We are leasing these through CAECO. The purpose, of course, is for road use and recycling use in those various departments, and the lease will be repaid through excess funds. And right now, it is a interest-only lease because it is that revolving lease program. We've already done the resolution. we've already gone through most of the hoops. This is just one last hoop that they require.
Does this require a vote today? I don't think it does.
Okay, no votes, so
So we gotta ask for public comments.
well, I guess we can ask for public what do you think? Mr. Hatfield?
When it was advertised, was the hearing date advertised?
Yes, it was,
Okay. And I don't know exactly what the advertisement said, but did
that
it,
we would be having a public hearing to discuss the purchase and,
at that
Lease.
hearing, you would take questions and comments and et cetera from the public?
What is the entrance statement on all these?
Mark, I'm sorry. If I didn't look at 3,000 figures a day, I might be able to come up with it, but it is an interest only. Before the lease expires, we will take those to auction, and usually we have a very good turnout at the auction.
We've
And
done really good on
We've done very well, yes,
who's responsible for the maintenance on these vehicles?
they are.
They are.
It goes through them, yeah. Well, I mean, like if it's routine maintenance, you will call and they'll either send somebody, or if it's something they can tell us to take care of, but it is all under warranty, yes, if that was your question.
What's the date of the hearing?
Pardon me,
The date,
of the lease,
hearing?
today?
What they're doing now.
Oh, today?
This is it.
Oh, I thought you were setting a hearing.
No, this is the hearing.
I got you.
How long is the lease for?
2 years,
2 years?
yes. Any questions from the constituents?
All right.
I guess this will conclude the hearing.
Thank you. All right, brings us then to our department reports. Eugene, you have something from Road Department?
What I've got today is a road work request and a request for 400 ton of blacktop.
See, I need to add a road, speed limit change on mine. It's Minneponka Road, and they did put a 15 mile per hour.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to change the speed limit to 15 miles per hour on Minnow Pond. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is that the only speed limit change we have?
And I noticed one thing also on the road work request in the second district. The contractor was left off, and am I correct, Mike? Is it LB Taylor? That needs to be added in.
What road is that?
On Salt Road.
It's his only one.
So we would entertain a motion then to accept the road request with these changes.
Motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then we have a request for 400 ton of
400 ton
blacktop.
Motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Next in will be public safety. Stacy, you've got a couple of things here.
Morning.
Morning.
Just ask the court's permission to advertise for roof replacement on a couple of buildings, one of them being the Hal Rogers Training Center, and the other one, the White Lily Fire Department.
Motion. Second. Motion and a second to advertise for roof replacement. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I've got a surplus vehicle for the SRT, a 2008 Ford Explorer. I want the surplus, so I can take it off the insurance.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second to surplus the 2008 Ford Explorer. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, then, we have our 911 call center. Eric?
Morning. First, I'd like to ask for permission to request a bid for the SRT satellite. The satellite's an internet satellite. It'll be on the mobile command post. So if anything ever happens like at 911, they can swing that thing over there. We can hook to it, so we don't lose internet connection at 911. So, and this the project should be funded through the Fire Commission, I do believe. Correct. Yeah.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to bid for the satellite dish. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
One other thing I forgot on the agenda, we have a dispatcher like to move to the position of E91 IT coordinator. We've hired a dispatcher. She's in training currently. She gets out in about a week. She'll be filling the dispatcher role. Then Jason Hancock, I'd like to recommend him to move to the E91 IT coordinator position.
That's a total position change, am I correct?
Fire vote.
For him, it's
Yes.
already, yeah,
Okay. When do you want that done?
the 25th.
Okay,
Whenever she comes
because
back.
we
from
need to
Academy.
note that.
What was his last name?
I'm sorry?
What was his last name?
Hancock.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Brings us to our treasury report.
Hello. The first item I would have on the agenda would be the bill list.
Received a copy of the bill list. Any questions, or we entertain a motion to accept it?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Wilden, second, Mr. Strunk. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item I would have would be the bank reconciliation for the month of October.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the October bank reconciliation. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item I have is, would be fund transfers, and this will be when we balance out the occupational tax funds. So these will be transferred after that is completed.
Motion.
Second. Hang on, I don't even have one.
Huh?
We have a motion, Strunk, and a second by Mr. Wilson. Further discussion? Mark?
I just didn't see what it was.
Okay.
It's usually at the very bottom. 'Cause I've had that problem before and freaked out on Amber.
Let me look it up for a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I do have one other item that isn't on the agenda. I know I've spoken to some of a couple of the magistrates, and I think it's the general consensus that we ask to advertise, to put out for bid for a refurbished, used total patcher with tank. It should help our patching problem, hopefully.
We're gonna put it out for bid?
Yes, that's what I asked, to advertise for bid, yes.
Motion to advertise.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advertise for bid. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Gentlemen, I thank you. That's all I have.
Next then, we'll move on to our citizens' comments. We have actually a few today. First with us, we have Holly Whitaker is here with Habitat for Humanity. She would like to talk about some projects they have going on and possibly see if the board is willing to help in something.
Hello. Thank you for allowing us to come today. I also have with me Lynn Ashbrook, who is my co-chair. I'm on the board for the Habitat for Humanity, and then we have an event coming up called Home for the Holidays, which is a Christmas tour, and it's one of our biggest fundraisers. It takes us 2 years to raise money for a home, to build a home here in Pulaski County. And all the money that we raise stays here in Pulaski County, and we're completing a home right now for a family of 9. This couple have 7 children between the ages of 5 and 15, and they've been living in a 2-bedroom apartment. And we're completing a home for them that is a 5-bedroom home. So, and this is not some just, pitiful little house that we're building. It's got all new appliances, new cabinets, and we're talking about, close to $100,000 home. So, as I said, it takes us 2 years to raise the money for a house. And in addition to that, we also do projects here in Pulaski County for people who might need ramps built, that can't do it themselves. And like if they have, need a new roof built or whatever, we also do that. But that money stays right here in Pulaski County. So we have this particular fundraiser we do, as I said, it's a holiday home tour. So we have sponsorships for that, and then we also sell tickets for it. This year we have 3 homes on the tour, and then Tammy Heller at Mulehole has given us 10% of her total sales for the whole weekend as well, and it's the 23rd and 24th. So we have 4 levels of sponsorship, and I don't know if you go ahead and discuss that or make a decision today or whatever, or if you want to look over this or how you handle that.
Well,
But I can tell you what I'd like for you to give.
that would help.
Well, there's $100, $250, $500, and $1,000 and more. Glenn Proudfoot, who kind of spearheads Habitat, always gives $2,000, so you guys can match that. But we'd appreciate anything you'd give.
Holly, the problem the court's faced with is, I hate to be the wet blanket, but the reality of it is that everything that they spend money on has to be for a, quote, public purpose. And so nonprofits are, if the court wants to deem this to be a public purpose expenditure, then they can, but that's their limitation, that different from people out in the private sector who can give and donate. It's a little more dicey for the court to spend public funds on. There's a lot of great causes out there, that I know that we would all like to be able to give to. I always encourage them to give privately. I know you've contacted me about
And
giving.
I haven't heard back
to
from
the-
you, so I expect to today.
What was that lowest amount?
That one's not for you.
Gotcha. But anyway, that's the challenge that fiscal
Okay.
court faces with public dollars, is donating to things that don't have a public purpose. So I'll let them make that call, but I'll be the wet blanket and go ahead and say that. It's a challenge
Sure.
for them, even though I know they fully support these type things in their private lives.
Well, y'all remember those dates, 23rd and 24th. Tickets are on sale at the Mulehole and Gracie's and at the different homes, which is the old Doolin House. It's a public residence now. And Eagle Realty Development, how could I forget that one? And the local honeys. And then they're on sale at the actual homes, which David Penley's home on Maple, and the Doolin House, and then the Whitaker home on Bo and Christy Whitaker, that's also on Main Street. They're there, and that's the 23rd and 24th of November, 1 to 6, or 11 to 6 on Saturday, and 1 to 5 on Sunday. So, all of you that can come. be with
Holly,
us.
you may put me down as a red sponsor.
Great, thank you so much.
Since my name's not on there.
My phone number's on the letter, so if anybody else would like to donate, they would. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next then, we have Mr. Mr. Bill Nykirk is with us, and I got a good report, I hope.
It's a real good report. Thank y'all for giving me the time today. I wanted to publicly thank Pulaski County government and the citizens of Pulaski County for making that the most successful reenactment we've ever had at Mill Springs Battlefield. I also want to thank the local tourism office because let me tell you, we got a call from a guy from Beaver Creek, Ohio, that's bought tickets from us to come down to the reenactment. We had 8,100 spectators at the reenactment over 2 days. That's tremendous. And I talked to one of y'all earlier, said, I came, but I couldn't see anything. There's too many people, and that's true. I had reenactors. I talked to one that was from Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska, and another one from Orlando, Florida. So it's from all in between. We had about just a little over 1,000 reenactors show up. It's the largest cavalry group that I have seen in my 30-plus years of reenacting. I mean, it was a great place for them and great place for the reenactors. Our biggest compliment is afterwards when you go on Facebook and hear the reenactors comment somebody is the best reenactment they've been to in years. But I want to thank you all. Department heads, listen, y'all did yeoman service for us out there to help us put this thing on. I can't start naming names. I'll have to take a list of everybody that works for the county and read them off if I do that. But it was very successful, and it is the last one. And I keep getting this question, so I want to again publicly say this. Everybody says the Park Service is taking you over, we can't do reenactments anymore. Well, first off, we're begging the Park Service to take us over. But yes, the reason they do not allow reenactments on national battlefields is that we pollute the integrity of the archaeological. When my button falls off my uniform, it's the same button they used 160 years ago. And so when they dig that up 50 years from now, it fouls up the idea of where would the battle really happen. But, they say, well, we still have the Battle of Gettysburg every year at the battlefield. No, we have no battles on any national parks. We have the Battle of Gettysburg. It's 10 miles from the Battle of Gettysburg on a private farm. Yes, we can have another Battle of Mill Springs. It can be on your farm, my farm, or her farm. It just won't be at Zollicoffer Park. So just clarify that for the public to know that the Park Service will let us do what we call living histories, where we still do the ghost walk. We can still do cannon firings, and I hope to actually increase on them because it's a cost. And with the government being involved, maybe they'll have the money to help us bring all these cannons in and do the ghost walk. So, business as usual is going to be good. Our visitation before the reenactment, before we even knew they were having a reenactment, has gone up tenfold out there. I mean, I've been out there on a Saturday, I guess 4 weekends ago, and the parking lot had like 29 cars in it. I mean, that's super for us this time of year. So yes, it's been a great success. I know Nancy community. I know that school day, we had over 1,000 kids out there, and the pizza parlor said we cooked 70 pizzas that day. So I know it's been a good success for everybody. Again, we couldn't have done it with you all, the public, and going forward, I see nothing but better things for Mill Springs Battlefield.
Do you know an approximate number or anything of visitors?
Yeah, 8,100.
81?
But going by the fact that they pay $10 a head. We do the math from how much money they made out there. And I also want to thank our sponsors. We had a lot of sponsors that gave us anywhere from $5,000 or more to down, like you were talking, Holly. And without them, we couldn't have paid for it. And man, I was really sweating on Wednesday and Thursday when it was raining. If it's raining on Saturday, we're not going to have anybody out here. So it was beautiful weather, beautiful time had by all. And about 3 months from now, I'll try to remember what I did out there. So thank you all. Any questions you have for me? Again, thank you all. It was a great deal for Pulaski County, and it took all of us. It took a village to do this, and I thank everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
And next then, a late edition for citizen comments. I've got Ms. Della Jean Price is here. She would like to address the court with an issue she's had.
I thank you all for hearing me today. I don't want to be here. I'd rather have a root canal and pay for it than be here today. My name is Stella Jean Price. I was born in this county. I was raised here. I retired from the Commonwealth of Kentucky after 31 and a half years of service. I have never failed to pay my taxes. As a matter of fact, this year I paid them twice, and the sheriff's office sent my check back. I have never asked anybody that's been elected in this county to help me in any way. Any official. Now, I live at 25 Woodson Cove in Bronxton. That's off of 910. We also have property at 1114 Jacksboro Road. On October the 25th, at approximately 2:33 mid-afternoon, I went to the D&M muffler business. I parked on the right side, several yards from the building, because I wasn't there for business. I was there to talk to my magistrate. That's where I was told I could find him. When I got out of the car, this little white dog came out of the office, and I petted it. That was the kindest thing I found down there. Both bays were open on the building, and the office door was open. I could not see in the office because it was dark and the sun was shining. I got out of my car, walked up. There was this really obese man standing in the first bay. I told him that I was looking for my magistrate. And before he could answer, another man came out of the office. I wanted to know what I wanted. I told him I was looking for Mike Strunk. He replied that he was not there. I asked him if he expected him back that afternoon, and he said no. Then he asked me what I wanted. He said that he would be back on Monday, and I told him I would come back on Monday. He asked again what I wanted, and I said that I would prefer to speak with Mr. Strunk. He said he would see him later today, and he would tell him in advance what I wanted. Again, I said I would prefer to speak with the magistrate. He again said he lived with Mr. Strunk, and he would tell him what I wanted in advance. He insisted that I tell him my problem. Now, I'm going to give you an opinion here. It's the only thing that's not factual in my statement. At that point, I felt, though, I might be in over my head. I got that adrenaline rush, you know, that when you get in the pit of your stomach when you think you was somewhere where you didn't belong. So I said, okay, we'll start here. I told him about a large deer that someone had killed and decapitated next to the road on Jacksboro. And it made me sick to pass it. It had been there for several days, and I wanted someone to pick it up. This was not just about me. You have children. Do you know what a decapitated deer looks like, just laying beside the road? You want to look at that every day? I don't. He told me, see, there's children going by there on a school bus. It's not just about me. My problems are not, and I'm not here just for me. I'm here for the people that live down there. He told me that there were 2 entrances to the Jacksboro Road, and I should use the entrance that did not take me by that deer. He's wrong. There are 3 entrances to Jacksboro Road. Neither one of those.
Can I stop you there? Because I think the very next day that deer was removed after we learned about it.
No, it was removed on Monday, I think.
Okay, I talked to
But that's
the road
not really the
department.
reason I'm really
Okay.
here.
All right.
Because my problems were really, when I went there, it really wasn't, it was about the deer, but I have far more problems in there than a decapitated deer on the side of the road.
So what's them problem?
Wait a minute. At that time, I told him I would come back on Monday, and I turned to leave. I was almost back to my car, not quite, because I had my back to him, when he yelled at me, "Lose the attitude if you want to get anything done around here." I didn't know I had one. I guess I do. I do have one today, because I can't get any help from anyone. Lose the attitude if you want to get anything done around here. Those are words verbatim. He then said to me, "Thank you," in a very sarcastic way. By then, I was getting in my car, and I hit myself trying to get in the car on the door. I said, "Thank you" back. I was afraid not to. When I left, I don't know whether I was scared or mad. I was a little bit of both. The following Monday, someone picked up the deer. When I left D&M Muffler, I went to the 911 office. I was actually going to the sheriff's office, but I went by 911 first, so I stopped there. I asked them if they could pick the deer up. They helped me. They said they would get somebody. I was so upset, I went home and I fixed me a really strong drink, a vodka and Coke. And I went over what I had said and how I conducted myself. Had I done anything wrong? Had I went to the wrong place to find my magistrate?
Ma'am, I just want to, I feel inclined just to kind of stop here. I mean, you're complaining about an employee of a business, and it's
Where would
nothing
I-
to do with county government, really. I mean, Mike wasn't there that day, and I can't speak for his employees' attitudes. I can't take responsibility for that. You know, your magistrate's here, and I'm sure he would talk to you, but I just feel like you're mad at someone else.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad at anybody. I just want someone to help me with the issues I have on Jacksboro. And it doesn't right now have anything to do with a deer.
Okay, well,
And I'll talk
I'm not aware
to,
of any issues. I don't know if Mr. Strunk is or not, but if you would like to make us
Heard
aware.
anything, but, I mean, that's what I asked.
I
What
will
are
not
your
come to D&M and talk anymore.
And that's good, because
Because I did ask around about why I was afraid. And I found out why.
that's good. But I don't know of any concerns we're having on Jacksboro. Nobody else has contacted me anything. And the deer, I did call, he called me, told me there's a woman up here, said there's a deer on Jacksboro. I called our guy at the road department, he said, I'll pick it up first thing Monday. I said, okay.
Well, my assumption was 911 took care of it because that's who said that they would do it. I don't know
And
anything
Aaron might
about
have called
that.
too, but I did
Yeah,
call.
we all work together as county
It
government.
all
so-
comes out, all
Yeah, I
of us has
know.
to be teamwork to get anything done.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. I'm here for guidance on how I can get some issues taken care of on Jacksboro.
Well, we want to help you. We want to help all of our citizens, and if you'll make a list of what your issues are, I'll be glad to look into them.
Okay.
And be happy to help you with, you know.
Okay.
I'm not aware of anything that you know, until you make me aware.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to try to make my magistrate aware of it, but that didn't work out very well for me. If I need to contact my magistrate other than going to D&M Muffler,
Yeah, you can call me or.
number? I don't have a number for you.
It's 271-2886,
A little bit slower?
606-271-2886. That's
Okay.
my cell phone number.
Actually, what I'm here for is I'm here for guidance from anybody that will help me, and that includes anybody back here. Anybody wants to know what my problems is, I know that they told me I had 3 minutes, and I know I've gone over, and I don't want to take any more of your time.
Well, just, if you would like to get us a list, I'll make sure that we address your problems.
Thank you. I'll have your list, and who do I give them to you?
You can, my office, Amber is my secretary. If
Amber.
I'm not there, you can see Amber.
Okay. And you'll get back with me on this, because I've even been to Mr. Hatfield's office over there and talked to Tom Reed about it, and he assured me that he would call me back. I have yet to hear from
Well,
him.
I called you back and you didn't answer.
Yes, sir. I called your office the day this occurred and left a message, and no one returned my call. I allowed a week to go by. I called back again. No one returned my call. I left another message about some of my issues.
We will,
And so I came up there to your office.
we will
There
be
was a-
happy to help you. Just, if you'll get me a list, I'll be happy to look into that and try to make sure we can address your issues.
I appreciate your all's time.
Thank you. All right. Next thing, we have, not on the agenda, but we need to go into an executive session. We have some property purchase / lease issues that we need to discuss that probably don't need to be discussed in a public forum at this time. So I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion, Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Wilson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
I didn't bring 10:39.
That will be the end of our business. If y'all need to leave, or if you want to hang out till we get back, we're just going to discuss a few property options. So, thank you all. Back to order. We met in executive session. No action was taken.
Looks like somebody.
With no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I've got,
Motion.
I got business. Thank you. In the paper Sunday, there was an article about moving the authority of the Judicial Center to Speeda. So, and I just want to get more information on it, and my biggest question is that a vote that the magistrates take,
The
or is
authority
that?
of the judicial center is not.
No,
moved
it's
to
the
speed.
scheduling of the Judicial Center.
There's going to be a committee formed to, right now, they call Amber in the office and say, I want to schedule it. We want a committee to be able to talk
Okay,
to.
but then does the county give up control of saying, to making sure that spot is a family-friendly spot and no alcohol on it?
We would
we-
like to
if it
form a
goes,
committee
it's-
to do that.
It-
That way, Amber does not have to decide. You don't decide, Amber decides.
No, but I mean,
And she books it.
right now, as county officials, we have it that where there's no alcohol and that's a family space. Am I correct on that? Right now, there's no alcohol permitted on the Judicial Center. We went through that thing with Jarfly.
Well, it's part of, John, isn't it part of the entertainment?
It is.
Yeah.
Or the city's EDC.
Yeah, so, once that's all, is that all, everything, the time's passed on all that now? Everything's ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
We just,
So it will allow vendors,
festivals we've had, we could just use that, though, as the children's area.
Yeah, because I know this court voted to make sure when Jarfly wanted to sell alcohol on a judicial center, that they voted not to allow that.
that was, you're
Because
talking.
we wanted to make sure
Not this
that's-
court, you weren't on this court.
I wasn't on
Yeah,
it, but
that was-
previous
It
courts.
wasn't even legal at that point in time
So,
to sell alcohol there. Now it is.
it was legal to sell alcohol in the city because Jarfly was already set up in the city.
But it was, yes, but it wasn't,
We did not have the EDC.
You're right.
There's no, you would have been very limited on getting a state ADC alcohol. You'd have some options at that point. But you'd have to know what you're doing.
So now you're saying that the city passed a saying that the county cannot still put restrictions on the judicial center to say, this is a family-friendly space for all festivals and stuff like that.
well, I mean.
So we're gonna
how's it-
allow
I don't-
alcohol
I
on the
don't
judicial
know-
center at this point.
I don't know that there's a legal definition for a family-friendly space. You're not excluding families or children. If vendors decide, as a part of this entertainment district, if they decide to come out there and, sell wine from a winery or whatever.
But in
then-
previous courts,
I
it
know,
was
but
decided
this
that.
EDC wasn't in place then.
Okay,
and it
so
is
we didn't
now.
have no authority, we lose all of our authority at this point?
No, no.
You're misinformed, Mark.
I'm not informed at all, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Well, I mean, you can come in our office every day and talk to us, and.
Why? We got an open court here, this stuff should be discussed in open court.
Well, I mean.
It made the paper before we even knew about it.
Well, but here's the thing. Fiscal court, you included, voted to build a stage on top of the,
To build a,
Yeah, but we
Canopy
didn't,
over the
Canopy.
stage.
we
Canopy
didn't
over the
vote
stage.
to let them have
Okay.
alcohol there.
all right.
This isn't about.
That's got nothing to do with
alcohol.
alcohol,
This is about
so-
forming a committee that approves. people
I'm
to
just
use
asking the
venue.
question, is that something that we vote on as magistrates? Or is it just you're gonna say, okay, Speeda gets,
We don't now. I mean, if somebody wants to use the plaza, they call Amber and they say, I'd like to use the
yeah,
plaza.
I know that.
And she writes it down. And then what happens, we get calls from all over the community blasting Amber for her decision to let a folk festival happen. So we want a committee that takes those requests and says this is allowable.
I understand that, but we're
Don't
getting to
vote
the
on it.
point, where we're allowing alcohol everywhere and even on county property now. And then I just feel like we need to make sure that we have an area somewhere downtown that doesn't allow the alcohol, where people can still bring their families downtown to a festival and not have to worry about alcohol being sold in one specific place. But now we're looking at the fact that now we're gonna allow alcohol. I don't have a problem if they wanna sell alcohol. I have a problem if we don't have a space for people who wants to come to these festivals and they have a place to go that there is no alcohol. And that's my thing.
Okay, what we discussed, because there's different entities willing to donate money to build a, over top of that space at the Judicial Center, okay? And we recommended that, look, as fiscal court, that we are improving the assets there. We think it'd be a good time to develop an application to protect those assets. Because right now, anyone can come in, which is, it's public space, it's for families, it's for kids, it's public space. We don't identify what anyone determines, we just say, hey, you got free public space. But in order to continue the improvement of those assets and to protect them, it would be a good idea to develop an application. That way, that if you're there renting the space for whatever event that you would like to do, that would you help clean it up when you're finished? You need to identify in advance when you want it, and it's not always available, the dates that you want. And then because of, as we do in our parks or anywhere, you need to provide insurance, because they are insurance to cover special events on public property.
We all know those. I'm just questioning the fact that in this day and age, we're giving up all the space that we have for these festivals and stuff like that, where we're now giving up. At one time, this court chose not to have alcohol on the Judicial Center. They wanted it as a family space.
Well, no, they
now
came
we're gonna
to us
give
and
all that-
asked if they could
And
sell
now we're
alcohol.
gonna
and
give
they said
that
no.
up? And now we're gonna give that up as court?
What you're talking about, the Jarfly owner came to court and said, they're having a festival, I would like to have a permit to be able to sell alcohol. The court said no.
So now we're not gonna, from now on, we're not gonna have that decision.
I mean, the EDC is set up, so whoever has a festival will have to contact EDC to get permission.
And that includes county property. It's gotta go through the city.
Well,
Just if they want to do that type of event, not everybody. If they want to sell alcohol, they've got to talk to ABC
Right.
and get permission.
Right, to sell alcohol on our county property, which we are not even wet at this point.
but you're inside a wet option
Right.
territory.
I'm just saying that we still need an area downtown for events and stuff that doesn't have alcohol.
Well,
I mean, you go up to Cincinnati, they do, during their fireworks, the big fireworks, they have a area where nobody can sell alcohol or have alcohol for families
they
that
have
don't
that
want to be
here,
around it.
and that would be outside of the boundaries of that EDC. This EDC has boundaries, and John can talk more about where those are, so anything outside of that, and
If
it-
I may
yeah.
weigh in and try to, would your concern be alleviated that, so far, I don't think that any festival has used Judicial Plaza to sell alcohol.
that I'm aware of.
where I see the problem's going to be is with the stage, and now with the stage covering, if somebody says we want to have a band and have beer there, then Judicial Plaza was within the EDC. Would your concern be alleviated that if that as a requirement of using Judicial Square in the band, that a non-alcohol section be cordoned off? Would that alleviate what you're?
Well, there's families that would want to come downtown, that wouldn't want to be around the alcohol.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way this county is. But we want to let everybody have access and a good time. And if we had an area, well, it was a judicial center that was alcohol-free. But now you're
It has
saying
been on the
it's not
festival
going to
so
be.
far. Just from the way it was laid out, I think that's where they put the inflatables and stuff and said, that's a good place. The problem I see that if you totally restrict Judicial Plaza from alcohol is you've got this great venue, you've got the stage, and soon the stage covering. And I'm sure that people who have festivals are going to want to use it and serve alcohol. So what I'd ask is consider that so that you can have a balance would be as a requirement of using Judicial Plaza that you've got to rope off 10%, 15% where you can't carry your drink into. And that can be done, and I think that can things. You see it a lot I go to a lot of minor league baseball games. They'll have one section where the beer vendors don't go, and you can't, and you're not supposed to take your beer in. I don't know how hard they enforce it. But I would suggest that you do that. Otherwise, you may overly restrict the use of Judicial Plaza, especially with this amenity of the stage covering that you put on it.
So I just want to make sure that with all these festivals going on and all that, that everybody's able to be included in this. And if somebody don't want to be around that alcohol and bring their family, that they have the opportunity to bring their family and still not have to.
And I have suggested a
change their
solution.
values. So,
I have suggested a solution.
but, I mean, it's something that I'm just asking that we look into it.
Okay.
And the reason why we discussed the application process, Mark, it's nothing to do with about alcohol. I mean, it's not anything whatsoever. It's that if you are hosting an event, wanted to use the event on public property, then an application process provides protection from whatever event that you want to do, that whatever it might be. Because if the space is somewhat rented, you can determine what enters it and what doesn't enters it.
It's, what you're saying is I understand, but my whole issue here was at one time it was decided not to have basic alcohol on the Judicial Center, and we're moving towards that now. But we're excluding the ones that wants to be down there.
I don't understand. I mean, I understand you apparently have a real objection to alcohol.
No, I don't.
And that's let me finish.
I don't.
Let me finish, please. And that's your right. That's your right. But you're talking about having these festivals, and the only ones I've been to so far include all of these food vendors, all these food vendors, and mixed out on West Mount Vernon Street. Mixed in with that are vendors who are selling beer and I think wine. I guess conceptually what would a family be coming down there to do except to walk around all those vendors and eat sandwiches and listen to the music on the stage that was set up at the east end of East Mount Vernon Street? What would families be doing there? They know there's alcohol there. They know there's food there. They're out walking around, amongst it there. What's the difference in that? Why would you? I wouldn't
Their choice
come.
if they want to drink that wine or not.
Pardon me? Yeah.
Their choice.
I'm just saying that if somebody wants to come down and enjoy the music on
Well, you
the
can't.
Judicial
You
Center.
can't. That's my point. The way the festivals have worked so far, the music is a part of where the alcohol and the food is being sold. So, I mean, has somebody complained to you about?
When that article came out in the paper, and I knew in the past what we've done in the past about the Judicial Center, it bothered me that we don't we're giving up that space that a family can come to.
That was not a real option at the time when Jarfly wanted to do it. That's been, what, 3 or 4 years ago, at the beginning of your administration, maybe? So that wasn't, as John said, you might could have jumped through some real tiny hoops, but it wasn't the option that it is now.
Right, and that's why I want to make sure that if a family wants to come downtown, enjoy the music, that they have a space to go to.
And I think John suggested a solution to that, so.
That's just.
I would be real
just a
careful,
concern.
I'd be
I
real
don't
careful
have-
about putting a band on Judicial Plaza, given the thing, but if you make a requirement that you've got to have a non-drinking session, that may be a solution.
Yeah.
But I think you may
But
really
somebody there
lose,
again, somebody's
the
got to
county may
enforce
lose
that.
amenity.
You know, somebody's got to enforce it.
I just, I'm not against people personal rights to drink. I just want to make sure that the personal rights of the people who don't drink
Yeah.
aren't squandered either.
Well, and, I guess if that's so offensive to you, then you don't go. I mean, if there's something being hosted and it's so offensive to me, then I won't go. There may be 10, 15,000 other people that want to show up, and there may be 5 of us that don't, so.
So it was just a concern that I thought we needed to address.
Having grown up here and watched the
Evolution.
evolution of having alcohol in Pulaski County since 2004, I am amazed at how open and how seamlessly or uneventful that it's gone. We really have not had I'm surprised how quiet the festivals have been. We really hadn't had a problem.
When you go
with
back
all
to restaurants, when it was, moist. Burnside was moist, and in Somerset was moist. There were a lot of people that I ran into eating, who I know were absolutely opposed to alcohol, but that didn't keep them from going to a restaurant and eating where you could buy a drink if you wanted one. So I think that's a similar analogy to how things are working now.
And, I think the Master Musicians Festival is very much a family-friendly place. And I take my family every year. I think every festival that's went on downtown, from Summer Nights Cruise to whatever festival, is a family-friendly place.
Yeah.
So, but please don't let anyone miscue it that the application process is the promotion of something negative, because it is not. It's to protect the assets of Fiscal Court, which they voted to do. So please don't use a negative such as alcohol, has nothing to do with it.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that I know in the past, the Judicial Center was discussed as an alcohol-free area for families. And
It still is.
I just want to make sure we have, on these festivals, that we have some area that's coordinated off for the people who don't. There are still people that don't go to restaurants just because they have alcohol.
And
We
just
just
to
need
be clear.
it needs to be inclusive where everybody has the opportunity.
Just to be
enjoy the
clear, unless
festival.
there's one of these, people still can't walk around downtown.
Right.
You still have to be inside of,
I think that everybody understands
till
that.
till there's one of these festivals,
Right.
till there's the,
You got to have barricades.
Yes.
The city, we've invested in, I want to say 800 to 1,000 feet of the barricades. And in my thing, it has to be set, we have to have a certain amount of security. We have a system now, we're using armbands. We may use a different system, but these EDC festivals are things. Now, some EDCs, if I understand, I think it's Owensboro, has a much different way, but we're trying to, we're highly regulating the area and everything as we interpret our ordinance in the state law.
Now,
y'all done a great job.
I wanted
Thank
to
you.
make it a point. I'm not against the individual right to drink. I'll probably be down there visiting some of those food booths too. But I just want to make sure families that doesn't want to be, can still come and enjoy the festivals, but not have to have a space they can go to. So.
Motion. Second. You got beat up. All in favor?
I might as well go.
Any opposed? Court's adjourned.